All right. Hey there, my friends. Ah! Ah! Happy Friday. It will be when you are watching this. So we are here for the Friday morning reading. A little different this week. Sorry I'm not here live, but you know, sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do. And I needed to not be live this morning. So this is pre-recorded. I am filming this 24 hours. Literally it's 10 o'clock on Thursday instead of 10 o'clock on Friday. So I am just filming this 24 hours early. But I'm so excited because of this Pisces full moon. Like I knew I could not leave you guys hanging for the Pisces full moon and just like cancel the live and that's it. So, I mean, it's just, we're here. It's going to be exactly how it always is. Minus the commentary. I will miss seeing your comments live as we work our way through the reading today, but other than that, I'm still gonna be here just, you know, saying the things that need to be said. So we've got our Pisces full moon this weekend, and man, oh man, I mean, I don't know how you're feeling. Like, let me know in the comments and I will read them and I will respond. I don't know, I'm feeling good. This full moon is sitting directly opposite or on top of my natal Venus, which is feeling like lovey and juicy, and I'm fucking into it, and stuff I've been working on manifesting is showing up. So I mean, it's fall. God, I really do love Virgo season, mostly because I just love this time of the year. Oh, but let me know, like, what's coming up for you guys? How are we doing? So we are about halfway through Virgo season. We're in this Pisces full moon. We have Venus move into Virgo, bringing some beauty to the day-to-day. What are the ways in which we live our values on a daily basis is the question Venus in Virgo brings up for me, right? Because Venus, yes, it's about love and beauty, but it's about our values. It's love, beauty, money, like the things that we hold close to our heart and what we value. So and Virgo is all about the details, the day-to-day, etc. So how are we living our values on a day-to-day basis is what Venus in Virgo wants to know. What else is going on? So we've got our full moon in Pisces. So last week we kind of had flipped on the week before, right? So last week we were talking about how the star can lead us, and it can be any infinite number of possibilities as long as we're being sure to balance our love and creativity with this sense of responsibility, and we're allowing our emotional expansion to shine through in the actions that we're taking, and we're not getting bogged down in working harder and doing more and etc. We want to work smarter, not harder, right? That's the stuff we talked about last week. So let's see how we're doing here this full moon weekend. Oh, I'm just so excited. Like, please, like, fill me in. Like, I'm happy to be dropping this on Instagram for anyone to watch. So if you normally, if you can't show up live and you're not on Patreon, you don't get access. I'm gonna leave this up so everyone has it, because like I said, this full moon is right on top of my Pisces and I'm just feeling lovey and happy. So we are here for the Friday morning reading. It's Thursday as I film it, but it's Friday as you watch it, and here we go. We are going to be digging down into conscious, subconscious, unconscious, mind, body, spirit, digging down into the 3 levels of awareness to see what we're thinking about, how we're feeling, and what's kind of bridging the gap. We'll take a look at the lights, the energy that we want to call in and move towards, and the shadows, the sticky, tough stuff that we need to deal with in order to do so. We are using the Way Home Tarot this week, as well as our Visions in the Liminal Space for our Oracle Clarifiers. We are drinking lots of water because we are hydrated, and we are starting with our affirmation, which is, I am focused. I am focused on achieving my goals through deliberate actions. I I take time to feel how it would feel to achieve my dreams. I visualize my desires through a lens of love and happiness. I am focused. This is bringing up some thoughts around co-creation and some of the stuff I've been thinking about and writing about the past week. We'll see where the reading brings us. So shall we? Ooh. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Interesting. All right. So in the position of conscious mind, we're pulling the Hierophant. In the position of subconscious body, we're pulling the Nine of Pentacles, love. In unconscious spirit, we're pulling the Ace of Cups. Up in lights, we're pulling the Five of Wands. And down in shadows, we are once again pulling the Son of Pentacles, who we pulled in shadows last week. So this is interesting. So clearly we're still needing the reminder to pick our head up, you know, and I love the artwork of these cards, right? But he's looking down, he's focused, he's like doing the work, right? But we need to look up, okay? We need to look up. We can't, again, we love Virgo season. We love to get back onto the calendar and make sure we're spending our time the way we should be spending our time and, you know, combing through details and getting back to organized and all of those things. All of those things are great, but we cannot lose the forest for the trees, right? Is that the expression? I think it is. We can't get so wrapped up in doing more and like get lost in our calendar that we don't remember why we're even putting these things on our calendar, right? Something that has become important for me as we work through this Taurus, we still have a Taurus North node, right? And we talked about the Son of Pentacles back during Taurus season. And, you know, so where Virgo is our mutable earth sign who wants to help facilitate change by facilitating the day-to-day, Taurus is our fixed earth sign who wants to ground down, doesn't want to work too hard, wants to work hard enough, but also wants to be comfy, wants to be intentional, okay, and is going to be a little bit more stubborn, right? Where Virgo is going to tend to be more adaptive, which is good, but it also can mean that we are losing ourselves for the sake of helping others or whatever, right? We're losing sense of how do I really intentionally want to be spending my time versus like busy, right? There's a difference between booked and intentional and just like busy, right? Busy work versus the intentional work that's actually going to move the needle forward. And that was kind of what we talked about last week, right? Like, let's not just be doing for the sake of doing. Let's be in alignment with that Father of Cups energy we had last week, and then using that Ace of Wands spark again to do the things that matter, that are actually going to move the needle forward. So once again, we've got the Son of Pentacles down here in shadows asking us, where are you to head down in the weeds of your calendar or scheduling or organizing or getting too wrapped up in details? Are you being overly critical of others or yourself? Like, all of these are the questions I want us to explore. And what's like, why? You know, so can we release those things and move away from those things? Can we use focus, again, not to be overscheduled, but to be hyper-focused on what matters? Okay? So that's where we'll start. Just recapping. We had this last week. We've got it again this week. Like, come on, my friends. Being burnt out and lost in the grind isn't it in 2022. We are moving towards intentional action. And this Venus in Virgo, again, like, how are we living our values on a day-to-day basis? Our values, not someone else's values, not the values society or our family or somebody else has told us to value. What do you value, and how are you living those things day to day? Okay? This Five of Wands up in lights, it's kind of tripping me up. It's kind of telling me that, like, we might have to fight some people about this. Fives are change. their instability, their conflict, and especially the Five of Wands. Wands is our passionate, excited, movement-oriented energy, and it can definitely result in some fights, some of them petty. Sometimes, though, we need, I don't know. Some of them are usually petty. The Five of Wands is more petty. The Seven of Wands is more like righteous. But maybe we need to be petty because we've got this Five of Wands up here in lights. So like, do you need to be ridiculously petty about your time and about your schedule? Do you need to send the passive aggressive email because the person's just not effing getting it? Okay. Maybe you do. I don't know. The Five of Wands is up here in lights. The Son of Pentacles is down here in shadows, saying, live your values, not someone else's, even if it means you need to like verbally backhand a bitch. I don't know. That is my spiritual wisdom for you on this Friday. Send a passive aggressive email. No, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be passive aggressive, but you might need to like be channeling a little bit of the pettiness. Like it might need to be, like it might be easier to just deal with this thing because like fighting against it seems like such a headache, but like you need to dig down and be petty and fight against it, okay? Is really the feeling I'm getting here with this lights shadows opposition that we've got going on. Because again, like I said, it's 2022. We're not fucking burning ourselves out. We're not doing things outside of our job description. We're working hard. Sure. We are crushing it at what we do, all of those things. But we're not taking on shit that is simply just not our responsibility. So whatever, like pull out some pettiness, deliver it in a way, that doesn't make you look like a dick, in general. Do no harm, but take no shit. Okay? So that's what we got going on in our lights and shadows. Oh, this is fun, huh? Oh, excuse me. See? Oh, it's still the morning. Oh, these beautiful fall New England mornings, though, guys. It's just the absolute fucking best time of year. Okay. The Hierophant's our only major arcana on the table up here in Conscious Mind. We are paying attention to where are we getting our information from. I mean, and this is interesting too as we're like kind of getting into the throes of election season, right? Where are we getting our information from? What are our sources? Who can we rely on? And that really, I feel like, ties into this lights and shadows that we've got going on here. Are our mentors the right mentors? Are they still... yeah, like that's the main question. We'll see what else the Hierophant has to say, but like it's giving me very much like, who are we getting our information from? Who are we going to for advice? You don't need everyone's opinion, right? You need the right people's opinion, maybe. I always know if I'm asking too often or too frequently or too many people for an outside opinion, that means I'm not in touch with what's going on with myself. So there are definitely like certain people that I ask for their feedback on certain things, and that's good. But so we want to kind of take stock of that. It seems to me like who are we going to for information, for advice, etc. And also maybe like where are we stepping into that role? Are we noticing? Sorry, I've got like ash everywhere. Are we noticing places where it's like time for us to step more into that mentorship role and be the one offering the advice? Maybe. Okay, let's see what else we've got going on. We've got the Nine of Pentacles in body. Like, good job, us. I feel like that's kind of this shift we've been trying to make. Nine of Pentacles is just like a beautiful harvest, and we are going to eat every single one of those juicy tomatoes and relish in them. It is this Taurus North Node energy combined. Like, I feel like this Taurus North Node is like the overarching umbrella we're under right now. And then and on a lower level, we're in Virgo season. The sun is in Virgo. So we've got this double earth, and it is feeling luxurious to me. It is feeling like a time to really ground into our body. Virgo is the sign of the body. So how are we feeling this nourishment on a day-to-day basis. And even deeper than that, we've got the Ace of Cups. We've got this like emotional fresh start, this renewal, this like cold drink of hydrating water. So I feel like what's happening this week, my friends, is we are being asked to really stay grounded and hydrated. Recognize all of the ways in which we're nourished, in which we have built ourselves this luxurious, amazing garden in which we've provided for ourselves. And from there, those are the roots, okay? And then from there we grow externally. And so from there we can look at where am I going next? We can take in advice from people who are where we want to be. We can provide advice to people who aren't where we're at yet, who want to be where we are, because we are, again, we're well fed, we're rested, and we're hydrated. And also that is going to hopefully, like, this is the grounding that I'm wanting us to really lean into. What's not grounding is I mean, we love the Son of Pentacles. We love a little hard worker, busy bee, but there's a difference between like taking a look at all that we have and like knowing we worked hard for it, yes, but not feeling like if we take a break, it will all crumble and fall to pieces. Okay, so that's definitely being asked of us this week. We need to know that we have done the things to get us to this place. We have worked hard. We have hustled where we needed to hustle, and maybe along the way we got a little lost in the weeds and we had to check ourselves and take an extra long nap, and so now can we let ourselves be at this point of emotional renewal, physical sturdiness, mental clarity, like this just grounded, more harmonious place, and let ourselves grow from there. Know that because I have worked so hard to feed and water and build this garden, I can speak up for myself and send that petty email if I have to this thick skull that's just not getting it. I can put down some things. I can push them off to tomorrow. Like, what is the worst that will happen if it waits till tomorrow? What is the worst that will happen if you sleep instead of working yourself until 10, 11 o'clock at night, right? Like, what is the worst that will happen? And even if the worst happens, is it that bad? Okay, so you decide to fire off this, whatever, speak up for yourself, mention how you need someone else to pick up some slack, don't do a thing someone put on your calendar last minute, and what, you get reprimanded, what, you get fired, and so now you have to find a job that doesn't treat you like this? I don't know, seems like a pretty good deal to me. Yeah, I mean, because what's on our mind right now with this Hierophant up and conscious is, yes, what are the other things, like what are the traditions, what are the conventions that I'm participating in, and are they still serving me? Just because something always has been one way does not mean that that's still the best way, right? Look at our fucking country, because in 1776 these were some seemingly good rules. Okay, but now it's 2022, so like if we're still abiding by the same exact operating system, like it's probably not working, right? And it's the same thing on a more micro level for you. And again, for society. So like, yeah, it might have been great to take this job and work myself into the ground, into the bone, but like, is it still, like, is this still serving me? So what are the traditions and conventions we're participating in? Which ones serve? Which ones do we need to rewrite and adjust and etc.? Okay. Who are we taking our information from? Do we need to switch that up so that, again, our roots, our subconscious and unconscious, we're better, okay? We're no longer accepting these piddly ass crumbs. We're no longer letting ourselves be worked to the bone. Like, we are ready to be rested and nourished. We know that. This is what we have become certain of in 2022. That's what we've been becoming certain of for the past 2 years since this pandemic started, right? So now is the time to be that, because we are. Like, these are deep. This is subconscious and unconscious. We're that person now. So let's not act like we're not. Okay. Until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. You know, it's just okay if some things die. The living fear being haunted by the dead, but the dead do not fear the living, is what the key says for this card. This is giving me visit your shadows energy. The better friends you become with them, the less control they have over you. Visit the dark parts. Visit the dead. It's fucking spooky season, right? So I highly recommend reading Shadows in my book. And if you don't have my book yet, I highly recommend buying it for $22 on my website. I'll send it to you with a handwritten note and a free bookmark, and you'll love it because it's great. But one of the biggest, I guess, reassurances that came to me, it was about a year ago, was, and we're always doing shadow work, right? Like, it's never over. There's always some other darkness and some other fear and something else to bring light to and to uncover, especially at a full moon. So whatever is coming up for you, visit with it. Don't run from it. It's not trying to haunt you. It just wants you to look at it so that you can partner with it rather than run from it. Okay, like, that's kind of how I have come to view shadows and shadow work, and this shadowy energy is, the better I know my shadows, the better I can recognize them when they pop up and see these triggers. And so when fear comes up, I can go into the shadows and be like, hey, what's this about? And the shadows tell me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on that. All right. So it's a full moon. Okay. So at full moons, there's tension. We got the moon over here. We've got the sun over here. They're pulling on each other. We're in the middle, like, mommy and daddy are fighting, but they're not fighting. The moon and the sun love each other. But we're in the middle. And we're being forced to look at the things that are being illuminated, okay? That is the directive of a full moon. So whatever's coming up for you, whatever tough feelings, whatever tough stuff, especially around this Son of Pentacles idea of working too hard and working too much and getting lost in the weeds and the grind and all of that, can we look at why? Like, what is the belief? Like, do I still believe that if I'm not absolutely worn out and miserable, I'm not going to have enough money? Like, is that still a belief? And how can I really focus on shifting that? Water tastes like extra good today. Oh, what else? Oh, tra-la-la. Tra-la-fucking-la. It ain't my problem. Deal with it. Like, okay, if we were wondering if we need to be petty, yes. Okay? Sounds like a you problem. Sounds like a tomorrow problem. Sounds like a future Chelsea problem. I don't know. I just, don't have the energy to fight with you about this right now. Tra-la-la. And, we can take that approach to our shadows too, right? And this is something I've kind of talked about before. When we notice these shadows and these, limiting thoughts or whatever that come up, it doesn't always have to be a big thing. I notice, I think of there was just this one time, it was literally over a year ago, but I always think of it when I think of this concept, is I had this limiting thought around money and relationships. And I was like, oh, that's not, like, I don't like that. I don't want to keep that around. And in the past, I would have spiraled and been like, I'm still having these thoughts. Like, I'm never going to have the relationship I want. I'm never going to have the money that I want. Oh my God. Like, I need to completely uproot all of these beliefs or I'm never going to have it. And I remember the difference in that moment was like, oh, I don't want that. We're not going to think like that anymore. And like, then I moved on. Okay. So yes, we need to address our shadows. And we need to work with them and we need to get to know them. And sometimes we do really need to dive in and be like, what the fuck is this about? And sometimes we see them and we're like, yeah, okay, this isn't it anymore. I'm going to move on. I'm going to stop doing that. On to the next. Sometimes you really just need to shrug your shoulders and say tra-la-la and keep it moving. Don't take on problems that aren't your problems. Virgo season. Just because you can, just because you're good at it, just because you're detail oriented, just because you know how to handle this thing and you know you could do it well, is it yours to handle? Like, let somebody else do it and fuck it up. Like, you'll be fine. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to. Just because it's been that way doesn't mean it has to continue to be that way. You came here to help turn off the lights. We are in a Taurus North node, which means we're in a Scorpio South node, which means we're addressing things to do around death and change and transformation. We're moving away from the underworld and we're moving towards intentional effort, rest, luxury, comfort, not working ourselves to the bone. Okay, so if we aren't turning off our laptop and going to bed on time, how are we preaching that we can't be preaching that at other people, right? And the only way the collective changes is if we do it first. Is again kind of this vibe I'm getting from our little alien friendos over here. Like this is a major Aquarius vibe. We love these guys. Like, look at them with their fucking popcorn, ready to just watch these humans doing their stupid human fuck shit, right? We're here to change things, okay? We're here to challenge convention. The things that have been in place, I'm not going to say the things that have worked, the things that have been in place are not working. So let's do things differently. Like, and here's my thing, is like, I cannot, when people complain about the same thing, but do not act any differently. What are you doing? Right? And, you know, as a spiritual life coach, I'm very good at patience and, listening and trying to guide someone to see. But we all have moments where we're just like, just shut the fuck up and either do it or don't. Do it or don't. Continue to do the same thing and expect the same result. Like, my level of patience in certain realms is low, and I like, God bless my friends who come to me for advice and I like give it to them and then they don't do it and I'm like, well, sucks. Like, I don't know, so I can't. Like, if you're complaining about the same thing over and over and over again, fucking change what you can or accept it. Like, I mean, because and this is where I know I can get a little Aquarian and a little cold. I do totally understand that there are some things well outside of our realm that we cannot change or control. I understand. Not everybody is equally resourced in this country. So many are so under-resourced and, all of these terrible things. And so to go over to them and say, you're not working hard enough, like, that's not the message I'm trying to convey. But the message I am trying to convey is, if you keep complaining about how this one coworker keeps taking advantage of you or not pulling their weight, fucking say something or do it. Like, set a boundary, like make the changes you can make, or stop complaining about them, because I don't have the energy for it. That's really it. Because the other lie I think we tell ourselves is that we like have no control, and like, oh, well, like, what can I do about this? I mean, you can do the spiritual work, you can set energetic boundaries, like you can't, there's so much you can do. And will it ever be enough as having a quality? No, of course not. But the other, again, like, this is the other thing I get fired up about, is like, yeah, the country's fucking on fire. Things really fucking suck. What can you do? What can you do? I cannot change the fact that Roe v. Wade just got overturned and a bunch of people in Texas are gonna fucking die because they can't get abortions. I can't. God, it makes me so upset. And also, I can't like do anything acutely about that. What I can continue to do is what I can continue to do, right? Like, is this making sense? And I'm not just saying like, just go vote, because like that doesn't even work either, right? But like you guys know what I mean. We came here to move towards a more conscious collective, and where we start is with ourselves and what we do, and us upholding our boundaries, not letting people take advantage of ourselves, not letting corporations and companies take advantage of us. Like, where do you put your money? Where do you put your time? Venus in Virgo, how are you living your values on a day-to-day basis? That is what you can do, rather than looking at the way everyone else isn't living your values and complaining about it. Like, fuck that, live your values. I'm fired up. Sorry, I didn't mean to like just go off on a, tangent there. But I do really, this is something that I really, really, really feel strongly about. Not even on of course on the, the big picture scale, but just in our daily lives. This was a really shitty thing for you in childhood. Like, okay, I'm so sorry. Like, do you have the resources to help you, to get the support? And have you accepted that maybe going forward, it can maybe be better if you let it be, right? Like, one of my like foundational beliefs is, just because it has always been one way does not mean it needs to continue to be. And like, even for good things, right? Like, this was always the tradition and it was so fun and oh my God, but like, is it still serving the way our family is set up today, the way X is set up today? Like, not really. So like, how about we do things differently? Just because this is the way we always did it, we can decide to do it differently. And it's actually like pretty easy in your day-to-day life. Like, it's not easy to take the whole country and been like, okay, well, like, we're not going to do it anymore that way anymore. We're going to do this way now. Like, obviously that's harder, but on a you level, it's a whole lot easier to say, okay, that's actually not working anymore. How would I do it this way instead? We've done the work. We're nourished. We're hydrated. We've got the food. We've got the water. We're not where we used to be. We can ground down and make these shifts. So like, let's do it, because we came here to help turn off the lights. Like, we're not here to keep staring at the same old fuck shit over and over again. All right, one more. Put it back. No, I do like this card. Okay, justice and karma ain't. Justice and karma are not the same thing. I can never find the words that I want to illustrate my point with this. It doesn't have to be one for one. The universe has a whole lot more to give than we give it credit for. It's like investing. Like, if I put $1 in and I get $2 back, like, that's, it doesn't have to be an even trade. And this kind of lends me to think like, okay, where am I operating in this way where like, I'm not going to do anything nice for you unless you do something nice for me? because that's scarcity. Okay, we're not here for that. We're gonna live from our values, and I'm gonna do something nice and know that the ripple effect will ripple and it will come back to me in the way that it's meant to. So if we're like holding on to this scarce, like, why am I going to do anything for you? Like, what am I getting out of it? Like, what do I get out of this? If we're asking ourselves that, like, I want us to look at that. I mean, in both ways. Like, it is good to be like, what am I getting out of this? Is this leeching my energy, right? Because we had the Son of Pentacles over here with parasitism last week. So we don't want to let things like leech off of us. But we also need to know that us giving is going to come back in some way, right? And we need to distinguish the difference and know that, yeah, so there's two lenses to look at this, right? I mean, we want to look at it from the Nine of Pentacles lens and this Ace of Cups lens. Where am I pouring my cup? And where is it being filled? And can I know, maybe I'm pouring much of my energy into this thing that's maybe not giving me, like maybe the energy it's giving me is the fact that I'm helping, but I do still need my cup to be filled over here by these other things, right? It's not always a direct trade. Sometimes it's my energy goes here and then that energy goes there and then that comes all the way around back this way to me, okay? So things aren't black and white. And it's not always a one for one. Okay, so if we're like holding on to this, well, what are you doing for me? I'm not gonna do anything for you unless you're doing something for me. Or also maybe we need to set that boundary. I'm not gonna do anything for you because you ain't doing shit for me. Like, so, but we need to know the difference, right? One is us setting a boundary and one is us clinging to scarcity, right? We get that, right? Let me know. We get the difference, so we want to distinguish that difference, distinguish the ways, in which we're like grinding ourselves into the ground and getting nothing out of it, versus where we're just like being unwilling to give because whatever we are being, greedy doesn't feel like the right word, but like we're clinging to these old ideas of scarcity, these things that don't work, okay? You know, like we don't want to be the person who paid off their student loans and so is now pissed that somebody else is getting a break. Well, like, what do I get? Like, sometimes you don't get this direct benefit, but like you're going to get there's other shit for you. But maybe this thing isn't for you. Like, fucking relax, right? Like, we get that. Okay, I'm feeling like we need one more. This feels like it. Trust the process, trust the work we've been doing. Okay, guys, we've been expanding emotionally. We've been doing the shadow work. Just keep doing it. Just keep going and trust that the work you've already done is sufficient and you can now make again, this is feeling like this is our grounding. These are our roots. And now we need to Hierophant mushroom all over this bitch. We need to, what are the lights I need to turn off? What are the things I need to shrug my shoulders at? What boundaries do I need to set? And where do I need to look up and get out of my like day-to-day grind, release any attachment to scarcity, like, okay, right? You've done the work. So now like it's giving me very much like it's time to do the work in the external world. Like we've done the internal work and there's always more internal work to do and we will do it. That's not going to change. You're going to keep doing it because of course you are. So now let's do the external work. Now let's like literally like, again, the Hierophant is our connection to the outside world. It's our spiritual guide. You know, it's our mentor. Okay. How are we taking these roots that we've done so much work to cultivate and using them? Rather than just, I mean, and it's great to sit on your couch and do your journaling. I do it every day, but like, what's the point of doing it if you don't then live it? I'm like very like animated today. So I come back to Venus and Virgo. How are you living your values on a day-to-day basis? This full moon in Pisces wants you to see like, where can I be more connected to the collective, okay? Pisces is the fish. It swims the oceans, right? Connect all of us. It has no boundaries. So where can I be more plugged into the collective? How am I living my values? And how can I take this internal work I've done and let it ground me and bring it into the external? Okay? Happy full moon in Pisces. Happy live reading. I'm going to leave this up on the Instagram. I will also put it on Patreon for my Patreon peeps. But if you haven't been here and you've been missing it, come join us on Patreon. If you can't get here at 10 a.m. every Friday, you can get the replay and watch it whenever you want by paying $11 a month on Patreon. And, amazing. You get other stuff too. Daily little tarot insights. Like, just here's the card of the day. Ask yourself this question, right? So join us there, and I'll see you guys next week.